Cheers, I do, buckaroos. How the heck are you? You know who I am, but I'm having some wine, so I'm not going to go through my usual spiel with you. This is one I've hung on to for a little bit. We picked this up, near the end of September when my wife and I visited the St. James area. They got a handful of wineries right there. This one out of Leesburg called Belmont. This is one of my personal favorites. I got to tell you, I really enjoyed that tasting. This is their Frontenac Ozark Highlands red wine at 13%. Sure if I'm going to be able to read this. I don't have great lighting here. Wow, that's terrible. My bifocals to focus. Belmont Vineyards, a family-owned winery located in Ozark Highlands region, Leesburg. Anyway, I'm not going to read the rest. It's going to just take too much out of me. That's going to be a lot of eye strain trying to get that in. I'm just going to show that to you. Bottom line. Bottom line. Described as an Ozark Highlands red wine, the Frontenac. There we go. 13%. It's a dry red. So I've had this one for a while. I only did the tasting, so I really, had a little bit of it. Right here on the nose. Wow, that's interesting. I think I'm picking up some plum and some black pepper of all things. The first thing I noticed was a black pepper note. Oh yeah, maybe that's what I liked about it. Yeah, I'm picking up a lot of plum. Again, I'm not a wine guy, so that could be just me and how I'm interpreting it. I'm picking up a lot of plum. And again, I feel like some fresh cracked black pepper, maybe a little bit of raisin as well. But it's really that plum and black pepper I'm getting a lot of. So yeah, it was nice. So here's what happened. They were listed as opening or open at 3. We got there right at 3, and they weren't open yet. So we went and we tried the door, and the door was locked. So as we were walking away, I guess it's a husband and wife that owns it. So the wife had approached us, said, he had to run to the store, and she doesn't do the tastings anymore. She just doesn't know enough about it anymore. So if we wouldn't mind waiting, and we didn't actually. I mean, we were on vacation, so it didn't matter. So we just kind of hung out for a little bit. It was about 15 minutes later when he showed up and he brought his stuff to the kitchen. He said, "Please, folks, just give me a minute and I'll be right with you." And he came out, brought us in, says, "I apologize for keeping you waiting. I'm just going to give you a little generous pours." And he did. Gave us very generous pours. But it wasn't only that. He was very friendly. He was very funny. Was my kind of person. Very irreverent like myself. Kind of off the cuff, semi inappropriate at times, but it worked for me. uh, my wife picked out a Concord from there because she likes the sweeter wines. I like the drier. For whatever reason, the Frontenac spoke to me at that time. But we've tried a lot of different wines since then. We At that time we really hadn't tried very much. So, and I hadn't had anything quite like this one before. Hey, I'm enjoying it. It's very nice. As we've tried more wineries since then, I've really settled into the Norton and the Chambourcin are the two that really stick out for me. So I hadn't, but I still, even since then, I haven't had anything like this Frontenac anywhere else. Not quite as full bodied and dry as a Norton per se, but it is good. Almost feel like I'm picking up some tart cherry notes in the finish. Right, I mentioned the plum earlier, but right there I'm feeling some tart cherry right at the end. I'm still trying to figure out the StreamYard thing because I did the test video and everything worked fine. But when I did the scheduled video, for whatever reason, it only posted to Facebook and not the other two outlets that I had set on there. So again, we're trying this one more time, I'm going to experiment all night long with this thing until I can figure it out. But it shows up top that it is going out to the three outlets, but it did with the last one and it didn't share, so I'm not really sure what's going on. So I'm hoping at the end of the video it will have shared to all of them. As always, I know this is New Year's Eve, so I don't expect anybody to join me in all honesty, or because I didn't plan these ahead of time. I didn't put any feelers out there. I didn't talk to friends and tell them I was doing this because, quite frankly, I didn't know. I didn't, uh, purchase StreamYard until today. So it gives me today. I'm trying to, figure this stuff out today. So anybody that has a chance to watch me, hey, if not, that's okay too. Watch me later. But if you do happen to watch, any questions or comments, put up on the screen. I will answer anything, as always. But yeah, the first thing I noticed still is those plum, very dark plum, some black pepper. But as I get to the finish, yeah, I feel those very tart cherry notes right at the end, kind of drying it all up. It's a tad lighter in body than, say, a Norton or even a Chamberson. But I've had this one since near the end of September, and I've been dying to try it because during the tasting, this is the one that really spoke to me. But again, you're only having just a little bit, right? So it's a little bit different when you open up a bottle and you're having a little bit more. How it hits you, maybe a little bit different. But I do enjoy it still. Is it one you would buy again, Tom? Yeah, in all honesty, I would because I haven't seen this at any of the other small wineries we've been to. I haven't found another Frontenac, so I am enjoying this one. And as I've learned a little bit more about wines throughout the year, it is the Norton and the Chambourcin that have really, jumped out to me. So, I mean, I bought this one kind of early on in my venture, right? But it is a little bit different than those other two styles. So, yeah, I do enjoy it as something I would purchase again. We again the Belmont. Here's the glasses, kind of like stemless glasses here. It's the first chance I've had to use a glass. So I could have used a glass, but I wanted to use a glass with the wine. So I've had this glass since September, and I haven't used it. So I was dying to use the glass, man. The Chamberson, baby, the Chamberson. Yeah, sometimes as I go through it more, I pick up different things or I second guess myself. But really, it's what I'm picking up still is plum. I'm getting a lot of plum initially. I'm getting those black pepper notes. I'm finding the tart cherry near the finish. And a wine guy, in all honesty, I mean, I'm a wine novice, so a wine guy might find something else. I'm kind of approaching it the same way I would approach a craft beer, which is typically a little bit different than wine aficionados. So I don't know if the notes that I'm personally picking up are the notes that a real wine guy would get or not. I'm just telling you how I'm feeling it from a wine novice point of view. But I will tell you, if you get a chance to go to whether you're an expert or a novice like myself, I would recommend Belmont Winery very highly. I mean, again, they were very friendly, very knowledgeable. They didn't try to push us in one direction or another. Again, it was just a very nice, fun tasting, and I couldn't recommend them highly enough. In all honesty, I wanted to get back there, but we didn't get a chance. I was hoping to get back there before the end of the year, but I didn't realize they shut down about mid-December. So, oh, man, I gotta get one more chance out there. Oh my God. They don't open back up until they said about around Valentine's Day. So maybe we'll plan a trip back out there again right about Valentine's Day because I really would like to visit them again. Peaceful Bend isn't far from them, so that was one we liked as well. And then, of course, up near St. James, you've got Prairie Barn, St. James, and Merrimack, which we liked as well for different reasons. But for personal reasons, we really have a soft spot for Prairie Barn. We really enjoyed that one. That one was a lot of fun for us. Belmont Winery. Oh, Belmont Vineyards, actually, is what it says there. Belmont Vineyards. There you go. Anyway, anyways, I digress. But I digress, man. Anyway, oh man, that was good. I've been dying to pop this for a while. I thought I might open it on Thanksgiving, but then we did other things. Thought I might open it on Christmas, but that didn't happen either for one reason or another. Sometimes circumstances, right? So I just decided this was going to get open today, no matter what. It was going to get open today. I wanted to know what this one tasted like. Because, like I said, I remember really enjoying it for the tasting, but the little bit they give you at a tasting sometimes it's really hard to tell. Although I will tell you, he was giving a rather generous pour for the tastings. For the tasting, he probably poured about what I have in that glass right now. And then he went through all of them. My wife had her sweets, I had the dries. And then he went back through, is there anything you wanted to retry? And I said, wouldn't mind having a little more of that Frontenac. And he poured me about this amount again, So he was giving very generous tasting pours. He poured it in there. So, oh, yeah. So I said, you mind if I have a little more of this one? He says, oh, no, take what you want. Okay. Then he let me pour my own. I said, I'm not going to take too much. He says, I don't care how much you take. Okay. I like you. We're going to be friends, you and I. Are you sure you're not Irish? Anyway, I digress. I will tell you that I had this one about room temp. Um, I didn't have this one. I had it in the house. So some of them I have out in the garage, right? So they're starting out a little chilly. This one not. I had this one in the house, but I did pop it about 30 minutes before I poured it to let it breathe. And then after I poured it in the glass here, I took some pictures. So it was about 15 minutes in the glass before I actually started the video. And I got to say, that's just about perfect for this particular wine. So I'll probably do a few more videos today that I need to because it is New Year's Eve and I'm still trying to figure out the StreamYard process. So I'm kind of using today. Today is an experiment, man. I'm figuring stuff out. And then going forward, I'll do the StreamYard videos I'll only do once a week. So I'm planning on doing a 1 hour show once a week that aren't necessarily structured, but may have a little bit of a format, if you will, depending on what guests I have that day. I didn't expect to have any guests today, to be honest with you. Like I said, I didn't buy StreamYard until today, so I haven't until today, so I didn't, talk to anybody. And it's New Year's Eve, so everybody's already had plans, right? So, and the first one might be a little iffy too next Thursday, because I've only got a week to get a friend roped into doing a video. So, and I have about a handful in mind, so I'm going to throw it out to a few folks, see if anybody has some time. I do want to do these on Thursdays. However, Next week is a little bit different for me. I do have to work next Friday, so I'll probably do next one on Friday. I'm looking at from 6 to 7. So, but then from there, I plan on doing it on Thursdays from 6 to 7. Once we get through that period, plan a 1 hour show. Like I said, that's not necessarily structured, but has a little bit of a format, has a little bit of an idea what we're doing. Again, that kind of depending on the guest, right? Whatever background that particular guest has, I want to focus on that. And then we may go into other topics. But yeah, that's kind of what I like to do. I do want to keep it off the cuff. I do want to have it unscripted, but we may have an idea what topics we're going to get into. That wine is beyond delicious. Yeah, I'm still getting a lot of plum, some black pepper, tart cherry is what I'm noticing the most. Like I said, I'd like to talk to a wine expert, right, to see if they've had this before. I have a handful of friends that really know their wine, so I need to talk with them when I do next time I do a wine video, see what their thoughts are, because I'm coming at it from a different angle, right? I know absolutely nothing about wine. I'm just starting to enjoy it, going to some of the smaller wineries and doing the tastings. It started in May of this year when we hit Keltoy and Christine's around the Joplin area. And it continued as we went to a few others. And then in September, around our anniversary, we hit 5 around the St. James area. There's Peaceful Bend around Steelville, Belmont and Leesburg. And then in the St. James area, there was Prairie Barn, St. James, and Merrimack. So we did hit 5 wineries in 2 days. I thought that was pretty good. My wife and I really loved Prairie Barn, though. That was the perfect storm for us. They were doing this thing where they had a bucket special, right? You buy the wine, it comes with the meat and cheese for about $10 more than just the wine. Get meat, cheese, and some crackers. Hey, we sat up there, spent about 2 hours, man, just relaxing and talking and just having a good time. It was nice because there was no expectations, right? So it was just fun, just kick back, drank a bottle of wine. My wife discovered wine slushies there at the Prairie Barn. She discovered she really liked the wine slushy. So, okay, now we know. So that was a lot of fun too. Oh man, that's delicious, man. So I am a wine novice. I make no bones about that, but I'm not necessarily new to wine. I'm new coming back to it, I guess. So back in the mid '90s, I was going to a lot of the smaller wineries that were around at the time, and I was learning about wine. I was talking to a wine guy at a local place here. So I was really trying to learn, but then at that same time, that's when craft brewery kind of really or craft breweries really kind of exploded. So I kind of shifted all my energy just to the beer, and I kind of quit trying the wines. And I'm not leaving beer by any means, but I will tell you when I started shifting my energy more towards wine than beer, and I don't know how caloric wine is, but I will tell you I have been losing weight since I've been drinking less beer, more wine. I'm not sure what the balance is there, but yeah, I really have lost some weight. Getting away from beer and drinking more wine. So this may become a thing. I do enjoy my craft beer. Don't get me wrong. But I have it. But the more it seems like for me anyway, the more I learn about wine, the more I'm enjoying wine. The more I'm enjoying going to the tastings, right? Because again, I'm starting to come at it from the same angle as when I started learning about craft beer, right? So now I'm getting a little bit of knowledge, a little bit at a time. and learning from each stop, right? So it was the same way with craft beer back in the day. Every time I went to a brewery, I learned a little bit more about how they do things. And I'm doing the same thing with the small wineries that we're visiting. Just gradually learning a little bit at a time. I don't see myself ever becoming a wine expert. I don't see myself ever, referring to myself as the wine whisperer like I do with beer and whiskey because I've been at that a while, right? I've been drinking various beer and whiskey since the beginning of time, but wine is new, so I don't know that I'll ever feel comfortable calling myself a wine whisperer. But I am enjoying learning the process. And I am enjoying, approaching wine a little bit different, right? Almost, I'm approaching wine actually kind of the same way like I approach a barrel aged barley wine or imperial stout. You take it a little slower. You don't approach it like beer. So you pour it, you relax, you set it aside, you kind of drink it that same way. You don't get in a hurry. You relax. You let it breathe. You enjoy the nose, the aromatics. There's times I poured myself a glass of wine and I treat it the same way as if I was pouring a fine barrel aged imperial stout or barley wine. Is I pick it up, but I don't even take a drink for about 10 to 15 minutes. I pick it up, I check the nose and set it back down. Pick it up, check the nose, set it back down. This particular wine, I will tell you, is oh man, I really like it. I know that was a technical. It's good, man. What can I say? Yeah, yeah. So yeah, I know there's probably other aromas and flavors, but what I'm picking out mostly again is plum. I'm getting some very dark plum. I'm getting fresh cracked black pepper. I'm getting very dark sour cherry in the finish. You might find some raisin in there in the middle as well. But again, I mean, I want to make no bones that I am a wine novice. So again, I'm guessing somebody more familiar with the style would pick up flavors and aromas that I'm just not capable of at this point. Oh God, it is delicious. So I gotta tell you. So typically, our game plan on New Year's is to just we have some snacks here and there. That's kind of what we've done here. We kind of got up to a late start due to some circumstances, but went to an Amish store last week and picked up some cheese curds. So I cooked some of them already, along with these mac and cheese bites with oh man, that's good. Spicy mac and cheese bites. So uh, yeah, they were okay. Actually, they weren't as good as I was hoping they'd be, in all honesty. But the cheese curds were really good. And then we had some pastries. We had these cream cheese pastries, strawberry and cream cheese pastries. We cooked one each. My wife and I just had a little bit ago where I started the video. I think when I'm done with this video, I'll put some coconut shrimp on for my wife because that's her favorite. But yeah, we kind of do some snack food, and I have various other sliced meats and cheeses we can do for a little charcuterie tray later. But yeah, it's just all about just relaxing, and enjoying some snack foods. And we're gonna keep powering through. We're gonna power through, man. We're gonna power through, baby. We're gonna get there. Anyway, anyway, I digress. Belmont Vineyards, Leesburg. Leesburg. Yeah, the first one we hit was Peaceful Bend in Steelville. Kind of did a little loop there, and then hit Belmont, and then we went back to Merrimack. We had some dinner there. We went back to the little Airbnb we had rented for the night, or 2 nights actually. But yeah, it was very nice. It was nice, man. We liked it. It was fun. The great thing about the little place I rented, I didn't realize it at the time, but it was only about 2 miles from the Prairie Barn. I told you, it's about 2 miles from the Prairie Barn, and about a mile, probably even less than a mile from St. James and Merrimack. So we were close. So we were right there. It was actually on the same street. It's about 2 miles up the road, but it's the same street as the Prairie Barn was. So we were right there. So we just go straight ahead, mega left. Go 2 miles, mega left. It's right there, baby. It's right there, man. Oh, mercy, mercy. We were in business. Oh yeah, it was very nice. Belmont Winery, Belmont, Belmont Vineyards, Leesburg, Missouri. Yeah, it's not far from Cuba. For folks that are familiar with Cuba, Missouri, it's right on the highway there. But we were staying in the St. James area, so on the first day, I routed us to where we'd hit Peaceful Bend, and then we hit Belmont, and then we come back to, we come back to St. James, and then get in our room, you know. And then the next day, I didn't want us to do any driving. Well, per se, I didn't want us to do a lot of driving. So we went to, we had Peaceful Bend, Merrimack, and St. James, stayed close. Actually, right there on the same parking lot is Public House Brewing. And I've been there several times, and I could have went there again. But we really, I wanted to kind of just stay focused on the wine. So I didn't hit Public House at that particular time. I will tell you though, St. James, they're in St. James. The tasting they do is rather spectacular. They're very knowledgeable. They're very friendly. They're very helpful. So they're a lot of fun as well. I keep trying to pick out something different. Honestly, you think, okay, what else are you gonna get, Tom? Because I do that with beer. Often, okay, now I'm picking up this, but I'm still picking up the same thing. I'm still picking up the plum, black pepper, dark cherry in the finish, sour cherry, I should say. Little tart cherry right at the end. I just don't have that wine palette yet, and I'm still working on trying to find these other notes. But that's really what I'm getting here. Again, early on, I feel those plum notes, the black pepper. Right in the finish, I really feel those tart cherry notes. It's not sour. It's not sour cherry, just tart. And I've had friends ask me, well, what's the difference between tart and sour, Tom? Well, sour is biting a lemon. Tart is a key lime pie. That's the difference. So yeah, tart and sour are the same thing, Tom. No, they're not. Sour is biting a lemon. Tart is eating a key lime pie. It's still tart, but it's not sour. It's a different sensation. Tart and sour are not the same thing. Well, tart and sour are the same thing. No, they're not. Anyway, I digress. Oh, yeah. The harder I try not to spill, the more I spilled. Anyway, I was trying to straighten something out. And anyway, I digress. I am, you know who I am. I'm not going to go into my usual spiel because we're having some wine. We're relaxing. It is New Year's Eve. It's New Year's Eve, man. We're taking it easy. We're not hurting nobody. Nobody's hurting us. We're staying out of the line of fire. Anyway, anyway. Belmont Vineyards, Leesburg, Missouri. Again, once again, I do recommend them as highly as possible. You know who I am. I'll probably be back in about an hour or so. We're gonna take a little break, a little pause for the cause. I'm still gonna try to figure some of this shit out that I haven't quite figured out yet, man. It is New Year's Eve, so everybody's doing all right there. I hope you're not drinking and driving. I am home and I'm staying put. Sláinte.